Hello and welcome to a pretty candid, straight-off-the-cuff review of Zootropolis, or Zootopia, as it's actually called. Apparently there's a copyright dispute thing of something already called Zootopia that means that the movie has to be called Zootropolis in the UK and parts of Europe, and whatever, that's fine. They said Zootropolis in the movie, so it wasn't distracting when I was watching it. It is a 2016 Walt Disney Pictures proudly presents motion picture about an entire city, well, an entire world, where mammals evolved to become the dominant species. So there are no people. It's all foxes and rabbits and bears and bison and all that good stuff. The movie's about Judy Hopps, who is a young rabbit who lives out with a family farming carrots, who one day dreams of being the first ever rabbit police officer in Zootopia, stroke Zootropolis. Apologies if I switch between the two names. The marketing for Zootopia is so strong in my head that seeing Zootropolis was a little jarring, but whatever. Wow, maybe the name did bug me. Judy eventually succeeds. She trains and trains as hard as she can, even though as a kid she's told by a bully fox, like, you know, no, you're never going to amount to anything, you're just a stupid, dumb rabbit. But she manages it. She's the first rabbit on the force, and is immediately assigned parking duty by her superintendent. And it's not what she wanted, but she makes the most of it. She's going to make a difference in people's lives and make her parents proud and prove to herself that it was all worth it, and nah, it isn't. Her first day on the job, she encounters a con artist called Nick, who is just horrible. His con is actually pretty cool. It's sort of like if Ocean's 11 starred a fox. People call George Clooney a silver fox. Imagine if Ocean's 11 actually had a fox in it. He was also a fantastic Mr. Fox. So I suppose he is a fox. Yeah. But he's not Nick. Nick's played by Jason Bateman, who does a really good job. A large missing persons case in Zootropolis is relatively unsolved by the police, who are trying their best, but failing miserably at locating 14 missing mammals in Zootropolis. So Judy takes it upon herself, with a bit of bribery to get Nick to help her out, using some of his fox-like cunning, to look for one particular missing animal, and to prove that she is worth moving from parking duty to being a full-time police officer. The film goes into some pretty noir-esque territories. It's Disney does film noir, and they do it really, really well. There is a lot of pop cultural references, mostly to story structure. So anybody who's watched things like The Big Sleep and things like that, and then similarly sort of the 80s buddy cop movies that develop the noir genre into a more kind of friendly, it's not the right way to word it. It kind of reminded me, in a good way, of the Dragnet movie and things like Lethal Weapon. I'm comparing a Disney movie to Lethal Weapon. I mean, to be fair, there are some very, very adult references in this film. As a kid, there's a certain sequence at the start of the third act, where as a kid, you'd see it and you'd be like, oh, so that's what the bad guys are doing. And as a parent, you'd be watching it going, is that a Breaking Bad reference they've just made? There's a Breaking Bad reference in this movie! It's brilliant! Voice cast is superb. Judy, you will absolutely fall in love with Judy Hopps. She's just wonderful and so optimistic, and you really want her to do well. She's probably one of my favourite Disney heroes, actually. And that's seeing the movie once. But she's wonderful. Nick is a fantastic character. All the supporting characters are brilliant. Idris Elba's Chief of Police, in particular, is really good. As is J.K. Simmons as the mayor of Zootropolis. The action is solid, the direction is brilliant, the score is fantastic. There is some cheeky extra music in there, including a song featuring Shakira, who voices sort of like Zootropolis' equivalent of Beyonce, or Lady Gaga, or, you know, Shakira, I guess. And it's a catchy song as well. It is kind of scary in places. In fact, I believe my friend Hal at the cinema, who was working on the shift when I went to see it, told me that this is the first, I didn't realise this is the first Disney animated movie in years with a PG certificate. That's interesting. I think a couple of Pixars have skirted PG, but not Disney. So the fact that this movie obviously pushes it just enough into the maybe don't take your littlest kids territory says a lot about how loyal it is to film noir and to buddy cop movies and action films and stuff in general. I would definitely check this one out. I had a brilliant time with it. I went in with not many expectations. I knew it was a movie about a city of animals. That was about it. Didn't really know it was going to go down the noir path. Although one of the recent trailers gives away some of the crime elements of it, because Maurice LaMarche is in this movie. Oh my god, he's so good. Maurice LaMarche, who's like Brain from Pinky and the Brain, and loads of other characters like Kif from Futurama, brilliant voice actor, portrays essentially the Godfather, who I think it's a vole. It's either a vole or a shrew, but he's just brilliant. There's that fantastic bit in the trailer where his daughter, because it's naturally on the day of his daughter's wedding, his daughter comes out, it's like, you said you weren't going to ice anybody today. And he goes, I have to, baby. Daddy has to. It's just the funniest thing. So good. I found myself laughing out loud a lot in this movie, like, really uncomfortably loud. I was one of the few adults who was in there, like, with a group of adults rather than a parent with a kid. So we just looked like total idiots. But the kids were laughing their heads off as well. Highly recommend it. Zootropolis, stroke Zootopia, whatever you want to call it. I would give it a very, very solid 4 stars. Few jokes miss the mark a little bit, and the more you start to think into the philosophy of the world, the more you go, hang on, where are the reptiles and the insects and like the fish? And hang on, they sell fish at that shop, so that means fish exist, but why aren't the fish talking? Yeah, whatever. Kids aren't really going to be focusing on that. But obviously this one alienates some children for a Disney movie because it is aimed at a slightly older audience. However, solid 4 stars from me. Go and see Zootopia stroke Zootopolis whenever you can, especially in the cinema. If you can see it in 3D, do, because the 3D version was a lot of fun and did do some interesting stuff with the conversion. So yeah, slightly more family-friendly movie out at the minute. If you want to catch my reviews for less family-friendly movies, if you're an adult or a teenager looking for something a little bit older, then my reviews for Batman v Superman, right there. Don't recommend going to see that. Or my review for 10 Cloverfield Lane, right there. I'm hopefully going to get my eyes around Kung Fu Panda 3 in the next week or so. But until next time, ta-ra! Ooh! Don't know why I went, ooh, that was weird. Why would you do that? I'm alone. Who am I talking to?